Yes, we are back. We are back. Oh, yeah, just keep it right there. We're back. I love the guitar right there. The Brown Beauty's back on duty. Jesse T and the Jesse T Show kicking off today's adventure halfway through the week on AVTV Live and the Digital Broadcasting Network. Got a monologue coming up here in just a second, and I'm agitated and aggravated right now about something that took place here a couple of days ago, and you know what I'm talking about. It's the Manchester bombing that took place, and I'm really, really not a happy camper here, and there's a reason why, and we're going to get to this monologue in a second, just past the intro here. Hey, you can check us out on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero and Instagram, as well as Periscope. Our Periscope friends have been on with me in the pre-show, and Facebook.com/Straight on the Point, as well as the Power of Voices. Now, for the radio audience, you can listen to us at www.thepowerofvoices.com. And, of course, we have many shows there, and we always invite you to download the free app, because that app, you can catch us anywhere with a one-button push, and it's a lot better than, typing in and putting in the website and all that stuff. So download that, and there's a lot of shows to check out, like the gentleman who brings us on, Lee Michaels, and you were disappeared there for a second, or did you bring us on? No, you got all right. So if you want to bring us on, you can right now, because I just love that intro. Absolutely. You can catch his show at 10 o'clock from 10 to 12, Monday through Friday, right here. Hey.
Now it's time for Straight on the Point with Jesse T from some undisclosed location somewhere in the world. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Jesse T.
Hey, I'm with you right here somewhere in the world, man. You have such a beautiful voice. I swear I'm going to be your agent and start booking you around town. I need to start hearing you on NBC Network, CBS Network, and ABC Network.
Come on, you know you're going to have me down at the Greyhound bus depot on the PA system.
Or Walmart special. Yeah. It's the blue line. It's the blue line.
Line open at register 2.
Yeah, I know. God, you talk about a battlefront. If you ever been to a Walmart, man, when the ladies are out shopping, oh my goodness, that is a battlefront of battlefronts. Well, hey, it's good to have you here. Check us out at www.aventertainmentlive.com. Okay, so look, we all know what happened in this horrific attack on kids. It was essentially kids. Could have been your kids, could have been my kids, just children that are just out to have a great time watching their favorite pop star sing. And the innocence was absolutely destroyed there of their lives. All the people, even the people that didn't die or get injured, the innocence has been ruined completely for them and the rest of their lives. And it just really festered on me overnight and bothered me. And it's a terrible, terrible act. And so what I'm about to say, you might want to have the kids go away, because I'm not a happy camper. And I perhaps your children under the 18 years of age don't want to hear some of the things I'm going to say. It's going to be a little bit straight to the point and graphic, but I'm going to say it. And so this is how I feel about that. So how do I feel about terror? Terror needs to be fought with absolute terror. Like fighting fire with fire. When it's out of control, they put a fire line to backfire the fire that's coming, and it completely goes out. America leads the world to liberty and freedom, peace and prosperity, back to humanity and respect. Our president traveling to Saudi Arabia, though I thought the pomp and ceremony was lots of bull, the substance of the speech, the new Center Against Terror of the Islamic jihadist murderer psychopath ISIS rats, and all the terrorists that follow, homegrown here or not, the commitment of the 50 Muslim leaders at the Saudi summit, the backing of Israel and the security of that nation and the Saudis and America are going to make the world turn the corner and start looking at this as a world war against this torrent of scum that simply needs to be killed and die. We are in world war. This is not a war in your neighborhood. This is not a war in France. This is not a war in Israel. This is not a war in San Bernardino. We are in a world war. The murdering of these kids in Manchester, only shows the commitment that these pieces of camel dung and cowards will go to, killing innocent children, 18, 17, 15, 12, 13 years old, children that have hurt absolutely nobody. In my world, we need to eradicate all of them and their children and their families, as far as I'm concerned, that follow in their footsteps. Get rid of them all, for they and all their generations just want to live and die by the sword. So let's give them the sword. Let them feel the American sword, the world sword, the global sword. We're never going to get rid of them. It's never going to go away. But we got to look at this as a world war against those that want to kill each and every one of you watching and listening to me today, if given the opportunity. They would fret at no. They would just off with your head. A choice has to be made, my friends. A choice has to be made. We've got to lead the world to the only choice that can be made. A complete destruction of those that want to terrorize you and your family, given the opportunity, and want to twist the Quran and use it for their disgusting behavior instead of using it for the peaceful living among the human race of the world. Then so be it. You enter my house, there's going to be an AR-15 looking down on you. No more will we stand for this. No more can we watch the blood of our children drain in the streets. No more will we allow you to put fear into the hearts and minds of all humanity. No more will you have anywhere to go or hide. No more will we allow you to use your holy book for the excuse to murder and rape and rob and steal and torture and be pedophiles against people of the world. No more will we allow the world to look the other way. No more will we let the battle come to us. No more will we be complacent in our action, our reaction, and our direction. Build the wall, Mr. President. We already have 3 natural walls, the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and the North Pole. So let's build one ourselves. Thank you for not bending over, Mr. President. Thank you for not making excuses for our way of life and the terrible deals that I call pure blackmail. Thank you for leading us back to strength and away from weakness, back to our way of living, the best way the planet has ever seen in the history of mankind, the American way. It may have its flaws, but boy, I would not want to live anywhere else at any other time than in this great country. We have the right way. We are Americans, and so goes America, the United States of America, and so goes the world. Now, I say it's time to take the battle to them in their houses, against their families, and pound them simply into oblivion. Even if we have to be as vicious as we were in World War II, because we are in a world war right now. If our partners and friends will not join us, then it's our obligation to protect only America. But we need to do it this way, by taking these scumbags and facing them face to face in their front yard. No mercy, no compassion, no empathy, no excuse, no love, only massive power and dominance and destruction of them. Right is on our side. What happened in Manchester can never be forgotten. It can never happen again. And it will continue to happen unless we start getting on the right side of things and understand who our enemy is. Your enemy, my enemy, homegrown or not. So I say, Let's take it to them. The world according to Torero. Now, you're straight on the point. Hey, can't help but being me, Jesse T. We can't have this anymore. We've got to move off this and start taking back our planet. Now, look at guys. I'm not saying that there aren't great people. There are great Muslims. There are great people that believe in that faith. But these psychopaths that they've taken that holy book and they've twisted it to come with some idea that violence and destruction and terror is going to win the day. I think it even goes beyond that. I think it goes to the point that they just like to kill. It's like an open ticket to do whatever you want. And we can't let that happen anymore. That has to stop. Saying hi to Craig Powers. He's got us on. And Gwen Legge. Thanks a lot, Gwen, for hanging out with us. Also on our Instagram Live, DP Truckin' just joined us. And, of course, our broadcast on Periscope. Good to have you along with us. The world is a crazy place, isn't it? But there is some good news, and there's some good things that are happening. And, one of the things that are happening right now, if you think about it, the family budget has never been higher. There's a recent article that came out, which I thought was really interesting, that the family income is the highest it's been since 2002. And that's a good thing, because that means things are turning around and things are happening in a way in which that people are starting to survive a little bit more. Is that you or is that me? That might be me. All right. So we're going to cut this off there and see if we can take this out. There we go. Yeah, a little commercial update there, huh? But anyhow, so incomes have increased in America, and that's a good thing. A research study says that over the last 17 years, our incomes have gotten actually better. And, of course, with the advent of more and more jobs coming back to this country, the creation of more jobs, the creation of better income happens. The more jobs, the better the jobs, the higher the income. The more you work, the more you make. And we as Americans and our families, according to this recent study, we have increased our income it hasn't been this high since 17 years ago. So it's really amazing. That's a great thing. It means you can buy houses and cars, you can buy furniture, you can take vacations. Lots of good things happen when a family's income increases. So we're on the right side of that. We're on the right side of getting better in this nation. And that's what America is all about. Striving to get better, striving to be better, striving for that extra something, working hard. The reason why America has been so great over the last 300 years or so, 275 years or so, is because we work very hard. In Europe, they have long vacations paid for by their government, and they have shortened work days. In America, we work all the time, and we always have. We've been a very industrious people to come here to this great country and make our mark. We know that we have to work hard, and we do. And this is why we've made great strides in this country in science and math and humanity and religion and spirituality and studies and everything that we do in creation and development, in commercial purchasing, in commerce and economics, in banking, in medicine, everything, because we work very hard in this country. And it's paying off because people are making more and more and more money. So that's a cool thing. That's really a cool thing because, we all want the best for our families. And that's why the Manchester event that took place and the death of these children, it just kills me because they want the best for their families and they get to go see their favorite pop star. And most of her audience are young folks under 18 years old. She's like the biggest thing on the planet Earth. And people go there thinking they're going to have a safe and fun time, and the building explodes? Shrapnel everywhere? This can't happen anymore. We want our families to prosper, and we have to feel for those folks in England and feel for the other people who have had people die around the world due to these really disgusting scumbuckets. They always strap up in the middle of the night and attack innocent children. So our incomes have increased, and that's a great thing. So, as employment goes down and down and down, our incomes go up and up and up. And always remember, the best time to get a job is when you have a job. So if you're looking out for another good gig, you may want to teach your children to become people involved in computers, IT, robotics, code writing, code understanding, code transcribing. This is where the big money is. Hundreds of thousands of dollars in bonuses and stock options. So they say today was the day that we're going to see Trump's his financial plan for America. And it did come out. And there's a whole lot of people that are pretty upset at this right now. But I look at it this way, in the work that I've been doing on looking at it and reviewing it. He's sparing a lot of the projects that he said he was going to spare and not cut. He spares the old age programs and slashes many others. Now, make sure you get straight on the point here, because what they're telling you is he's slashing Medicare and he's slashing Social Security payments. No, he's slashing Medicare on those that actually don't need it. He's slashing Social Security payments under disability. The biggest area that Social Security gets robbed by people is in the area of disability insurance. There has been so many stings and operations against insurance doctors and et cetera, and people that have been robbing and setting up for disability payments that should never have got them. They're sitting in jail today. That's one of the biggest areas in which the money gets stolen from. So when they start talking about they're cutting Social Security, they're not cutting it for the aged or the elderly. They're cutting it for people that are robbing the system. That's one aspect that you got to really stay clear on. And Medicare, they're not cutting Medicare. They're cutting people that don't need Medicare. That's what they're cutting. See, these are two areas that there's a lot of waste and crime and corruption that takes place. Some of the other details of the president's first proposed spending plan, which were released, of course, today on Tuesday. The Trump budget includes $3.6 trillion in cuts over 10 years. Over 10 years to balance the budget. It's going to take that long to balance our debt so that at least we have a balanced budget. It doesn't mean that we don't have the future debt. We just at least balance the yearly budget. The biggest are $800 billion in cuts to Medicare that come from the White House assumed repeal of the former President Barack Obama's Affordable Care Act, because when Affordable Care kicked in, Medicare went up because it forced people that could not afford the insurance or could not have incomes high enough. So they had to go on the Obamacare plan, which caused them to get derailed into Medicare. And that caused the budget to excel. So what they're cutting back is when the Obamacare Act folds and fails, as all the insurance companies are pulling out of the states now, more and more and more. Aetna, Blue Cross, Kaiser, they're all pulling out. As that happens, Obamacare is going to fall, and it's going to crash naturally. So what it gets replaced with is something that they're calling now the Trump Act or the Trump Affordable Care or the Trump Care, the Trump Medical Act or whatever they're calling it. And that hasn't been decided yet. The senators are still working that out. And what Congress sent to them is going to be dramatically different than what comes back out of the Senate. for the president to sign. But the one thing for sure is Obamacare is going to collapse on itself if nothing is done. It's just that simple. And then our Medicare budgets are going to go from $800 billion to well into the trillions. And I'm sorry, we just can't afford it. Now, if this country gets out of debt and starts making a major profit, and millions and millions and millions and millions of jobs come back, and a part of his budget is based on the concept that millions and millions and millions of jobs are going to come back, once they've already developed and created 1 million jobs, and jobs were already coming back under Obama when that happened. The small incremental growth was happening, but it's happening at a furious state now. That $110 billion military budget, that country is giving our country $110 billion. We're not giving it to them. We gave Iran a couple of years ago like that much money. And all they did was take it and sponsor terrorist organizations that go and blow up kids in Manchester. So we're getting back to square. That's what we're doing. So we get $110 billion. They're buying all kinds of great military equipment. I read the list from ships to airplanes to systems to missiles to defense things to cyber to drones to everything. That's a lot of jobs. That means a lot of employers start hiring people. They're buying 4 of the brand new littoral ships, and those ships haven't been made yet. That's a lot of work for 2 to 3 years to make those ships in the shipyards of America. That's a lot of jobs, high-skilled jobs, labor jobs, union jobs, high-wage jobs. So, as the jobs increase, people can afford their insurance, and Medicare goes down. And that's what they're cutting. They're cutting all the EBT and the welfare recipients, which is just EBT, all the people that should be working. I can tell you right now, I can name 15 people right now that I know should be working, and they're receiving EBT checks every month. They're receiving subsidies under Section 8 every month. They're receiving free medical every month. They're receiving free clothes, free water, free food every month. They're receiving free everything, a free phone every month. Why should they receive that every month? In my book, they shouldn't. If I got to pay for it and work, then you have to pay for it and work. Pull your weight. Now, if you truly are someone that needs disability payments, we go back to the old system and you have to prove that up. And if you are truly a person that needs that, then that can be vetted. And you should receive all that you should get and all the assistance and help. But hey, what stops now is a handout. That's what this budget basically is saying. The handout stops. The hand up is there. If you can work, go get a job. If you can't work, you're not going to live off of us unless you truly can't work. So the budget also cuts back way on, also cuts college loan programs and pension programs for federal employees. Well, let's talk about that. I got no problem with federal employees' pension programs. That's deferred payments. Do you know how many deferred payments? That's into the trillions, the upper billions of dollars. Deferred payments. That's a lot of money. Now answer this question for me. Just because you went to work for the federal government, you should get 100% of your money back? Well, you go to work for Sam's Car Shop down the street for 40 years, you're not going to get 100% of your money back. It's time that Washington starts cleaning its own house up. And that's the attempt there. And the budget goes on to cover a lot of things. But don't get sidetracked in what the mainstream media is going to tell you, that Trump lied with his promises. He hasn't lied. People have paid into the system their whole lives. Nothing's going to change. But do you think that you or I are really going to have a Social Security? Please. Social Security was never intended. Did you know that? That Social Security is not set by law, that they have to pay you anything. Do some research on that one. The government doesn't have to pay you what you've paid in at all, period. They're not bound by law to do that. It's not written in the code. A lot of folks don't know that. So we're getting things that we don't really necessarily legally have to be provided for us. We have to get control of the massive spending that's going on. We cannot continue to spend and spend and spend. We have to do something about it. And this is a 10-year plan to fix the debt. Now, the critics are going to say, oh, he's lying. He did this. He didn't do that. He's not doing what he said he would do. He's told a big lie. They're already starting to do it. But they're slashing programs that should have been slashed, like the post office. Stop giving the post office any money. I don't even use the post office anymore. Amtrak, get rid of them. Antiquated system of traveling. The post office. I get mail from 3 doors down all the time. I keep telling the postal guy or the postal gal, it's a different postal person every day. Gone are the times that, your postman or postwoman was 20 years on your street. Most of them are talking on their cell phone as they're walking down the street, not paying attention to anything. The friggin' stamp costs 47 cents. It just keeps going up, and the services just keep going down and down and down. When was the last time you sent an important letter through the mail? You pay your bills online. You do all your important emails online. You text now more than anything online. Post office got to go. We got to stop paying for the post office. Amtrak's the same thing. Unbelievable waste. People use it, but it's never been in a profit. Here in Los Angeles, the subway system they built, it's never profited. Not one penny. The taxpayers in the county of Los Angeles have been subsidizing that since the first hole was dug 20 years ago. Complete waste of money. Oh, but the bureaucrats keep getting richer. And they keep getting richer. And I'm sorry, folks. In America, you have a right to get wealthy. You have a right to be part of the elite class if you can get there. Whoever got there, got there. What makes you think you can't get there? They got there, so why don't you get there? But don't get mad at people because they got there, because they got paid for what they did. Don't get mad at a basketball player or a football player that gets $20 million for a 2-year contract. That's the going value. Sorry you didn't get it. You couldn't get past Little League. I'm sorry. But don't get mad at them because they have a 26,000 square foot home and 20 cars. There aren't many of them around anyway. So what's so wrong with the rich and the wealthy and the elite? They create the jobs. They create the manufacturing centers. They create the country. They create the developments. They create the software companies. They create all of these things, jobs for you. Or do you want to be like in Guatemala or El Salvador or Malaysia or even England for that matter and make nothing? make nothing. Nothing comes out of New Zealand. Nothing comes out of Australia. Nothing comes out of Portugal. Nothing comes out of Norway. Nothing comes out of the USSR, the Russia. What comes out of Mexico? Tell me. What does Thailand make? Vietnam, Nigeria, Libya. What do they make? America makes everything. And if you get rich doing it, right on. Please teach me how to do what you just accomplished. Then we can both afford an $80 million G4 jet, or now the G5 series. So what's wrong with that? People got yourself twisted. Now, if there's no jobs, if there's no wealthy elite, there's no jobs. Because nobody's creating anything. Now, how do you think your life would change then? If you couldn't get up every day and go to work somewhere because somebody else put that plant together, somebody else created that little thing that gives you your employment, somebody else provided the opportunity for you to participate in that area so you can get employed, so you can make some money, so you can put yourself through school, your kids through school, take care of your own insurance, not live off the system. I think we should have more wealthy people. That's why I can't wait for the tax plan to come. Cut corporate tax down to 15% and regular personal tax down to 35%. So when you start talking about this budget, start understanding, start reading it. You know, you can get a copy of it if you want to. Contact the Library of Congress. It gets published by the Library of Congress. And the budget is there. Just go on their website. It's about an inch thick. It's not that thick. Read it for yourself. Don't trust CNN or Fox. They both got a slanted issue. America's got to get back to being what America is. And that's the supreme power of the friggin' universe. It's that simple. We got to start thinking that we're better than any other country. We got to start thinking that we live in the greatest place on the planet Earth. We got to start thinking that our system, no matter how flawed it may be, is the best in the world. And we got to stop being little whiny crybaby sissy pansies, whining and crying about everything. And start getting out and put some action to it. And quit whining at home. You don't got a job? Go get a job. Get a job. Any job. Because a job leads to a job. And there's lots of jobs out there. For a while there, I was talking about I had Jobs Wednesday. I got a job for you. I was talking about all kinds of jobs from all kinds of industries. From Coca-Cola to the medical, to construction companies, to service companies, to IT, to painting. I was talking about all kinds of jobs. And there's lots of jobs out there. And if you want to work, I've always believed you can work and make money. It's those that don't want to work. I tell you, I can name 15 people right now who should be working, who aren't working, who are getting EBT and Section 8 and free clothes and free food and free shoes and free transportation and free phones and free water and free gas and free power. They pay no taxes. They contribute nothing to society, but they take everything. This, living in this country is not free. And we've allowed ourselves over the last 40 years to teach everybody that they deserve something. You deserve nothing. You don't deserve anything. What makes you so special on a planet of 7.5 billion people that you deserve anything? You want something? Go work for it. You want something? Figure out a way. God gave you the same brain He gave me. Learn something. Put your time in. Go get it. You don't deserve it. It's a privilege to be born in the United States of America. That's a blessing that was bestowed upon you, born here. You had no control of it. Make something of yourself. Don't make a fool of yourself. So what President Trump is worth $1 billion, $3 billion, $10 billion, or $10? Who cares? So what? His daddy helped him. So what? Daddy gave him a good start. Well, isn't that what you want to do for your children? Don't you want to give them a good start? And if you didn't, then why did you even consummate making children? You created an illegal crime right there. Oops, I'm sorry. Really? Oops, I'm sorry. Put on a Trojan, for God's sakes. Take some responsibility for your actions. You see, that's the problem. Nobody wants to live up to the accountability of their actions, good or bad or indifferent. We got twisted over the last 50 years. What happened to a man's word? If his word's good, he's good. If his word ain't no good, he ain't no good. No such thing anymore. Well, there should be. See, that's the problem. That's the real issue at hand. And the rest of the world follows. Because how goes America? How goes Germany? How goes Italy? How goes Israel? How goes everywhere? So say I, hey, you're in the world according to Torero right now, knee deep. And I'm getting you straight on the point, because the point is this country's got to be back 100% and strong again. And I'll tell you something. I stopped training. I stopped training about 2 years ago on a regular basis. Oh, I would train just my stuff in Wing Chun. I would train just my dummy and hit the heavy bag and, do a few sit-ups. But I got motivated because I want something. And what I want is I want a race in Valencia in December of 2017 in the Spartan sprint race of 5 miles with 25 to 30 obstacles, mud and barbed wire and fences and wood fences and bags of sand carrying them up the hills and rocks and tree stumps. And I want to race in one of those. I want to do one of those. Ever since I first saw them 10 years ago, I wanted to do one. So I got motivated because I want something. No one's going to give it to me. No one's going to provide it for me. I have to work hard to get that. So I start training. Get injured last year, the end of the year. Almost die, lose 50% of my blood. Recover. 3 months later, start training. 4 months later, start training. Training. And I'm training. And I'm training 3 hours a day. I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and I do my cardio. And after this show, I go to the gym and I hit the weights and I do my core, my neck, my abs, my core work, my calisthenics. And I eat right, no salt, no sugar. And I drink good water. Alkaline-based water with pH perfect. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't take drugs. And it's painful. It is painful. I hurt. I gasp for air. My muscles want to explode with pain. I'm 56 years old. I get little things here and there that I never got when I was 26. But I keep training, and I keep working, and I keep working, and I keep going, and I keep trying, and I keep training. Because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to do that race in December. I'm not going to break any records. I just want to be able to start running and finish running. I'm not going to walk a step. That's my goal. It's painful because sometimes when you got to change, pain hurts. And the pain of change. Well, we Americans have to change. Otherwise, the Manchester bombings are going to continue and it's going to come to a street near you. You're going to send your kids to a concert and the building's going to explode. We need to super vet people coming in who want to kill you every day of their life. They want to chop your head off and kill your family just because. They're psychopath murderers. They thirsty, blood-sucking vampires. That's what they are. They cloud it in the Holy Quran. But that's a bunch of bull. There's all kinds of great Muslims out there that aren't idiots like these. America has to change. We got to get strong. We got to bite the bullet. We have to change our ways over the last 50 years. All this race baiting, breakup of our society. I hear Black Lives Matter is starting a youth camp. That's a terror organization. There's more racism and discrimination now than ever before in my life. It's all created to break up you and America, to keep you going down the path of destruction. And now we got a president who says, hey, screw you guys in Washington. I owe you nothing. I'm going to get my own, but I'm also going to change this country. And they're scared for their jobs. That's what's really happening. They're scared for their jobs. A Senaho. You know what I call senators? I call them Senahos because we send them to be hoes. We send them wherever they're supposed to go and they turn into hoes. They're Senahos. They make $225,000 a year for the rest of their lives, serving one term, with insurance paid forever. And they don't get Obamacare, Trump care, Mr. Magoo care, Caterpillar care, whatever the heck kind of care we're going to get. They don't get that. They get the special Bethesda hospital care. The congressman. I haven't figured out a name for those idiots. Oh, don't worry. I'll figure out a name for those idiots. $175,000 a year. But they don't care about the money, honey, baby. They like the network contacts. You talk about the greatest network party of all time? Behind the Circle Beltway of Washington, D.C. It's a party every night. It's a party every night. That's what they want. There's this one congressman. He's talking about the Trump budget, and he said, "In the 33 years I've been in Congress." What? Wait a second. You've been elected for 33 years in Congress? That means every 2 years you get reelected? How many elections is that? Let's do some quick math here, if I can still remember how to do math. Let me see. 2 into 30 goes 15. So 2 into 33 goes 16, because that's 16 times 2 is 32. He has been reelected 16 times to Congress. What? What? Look, I know congressmen. I know some Senate-hos. When they get behind that beltway up there in D.C., these people change. They become chameleons of lies and hypocrisy. All of them. If we don't get our act together in this country, what's going to happen is we're going to be overrun. We are in a world war. A world war. And it's really simple to see. They blew up our trade towers. They tried to knock them down in the 90s. It didn't work. They murdered in San Bernardino. They murdered in Florida. These illegal criminal terrorists that come across this border murder our children every single day in this country. I don't care whether you're Mexican, Central American, Asian. I don't care if you're from friggin' Andromeda. If you don't get a passport and a citizenship, you're a friggin' illegal criminal. They blew up Manchester. They blew up Boston. They've destroyed Syria. They destroyed Iraq, Afghanistan. They're about ready to get nuclear weapons, though Iranians are not Muslim. The Ayatollahs are, but the typical Iranian is not. They're Persian. They don't even speak Arabic. Well, they may speak it because they live there, but that's not their primary. It's Farsi. They're as different as Arabs than a man is from a woman. But, of course, in America, we got cross-genderizing. Heck, there's people walking around there that don't know what sex they are. On Tuesday, they're women. On Friday, they're men. I'm tired of that, too. God, pull to your pants and see what you are if you don't know what you are. Oh, because I feel like I've been a man and I feel like I've been a woman. Oh, my love, please. That's how you feel, and keep your feelings to yourself. Or can I come over to your living room and tell you how I feel? None of my business what your feelings are. We got to get strong. We got to start fighting evil. Because evil is among us. In LA County alone, there's over 100,000 registered hardcore gang members. There's over 1.5 million in the United States of America. There's 35,000 registered illegal street gangs in America. Baltimore is the murder capital of the East Coast. Chicago is the murder capital of the Midwest. Right now, we have more armed robbery, 459s going on in LA City than ever before. Better get it straight. You better start picking sides. Because terrorism is coming your way. And what you going to do when you get that call at night that your son or daughter was blown up against the wall filled full of shrapnel? How are you going to feel then? You going to want to build a wall? How are you going to feel then? You going to want to take some vengeance? Some revenge? You can do whatever you want to do. But that child is dead. You better fight him in their yard and not in ours. And in order to do that, we have to get in shape. We have to change the way we think about things. It's not conservative. It's not lunatic liberal. It's not right-wing nutcases. It has nothing to do with religion. It has to do that we are in a fight for our existence. And if Manchester didn't teach you anything, it at least has to teach you this. You don't want it to come to your doorstep. At least it's got to say that. Yeah, I'm aggravated and agitated. And I'm more aggravated and agitated that this has continued to go on for 30 years. We can go back to the Reagan administration when they bombed the Marines in I believe was Lebanon, the Marine base. Even our own homegrown ones when that McVeigh dude blew up the FBI building in Oklahoma. I mean, don't we get it? We have to have a positive attitude about the fact that we're going to win. And it's going to cost. Because we are in a world war. Don't let anybody tell you any different. And the only reason why we have not been affected like the rest of Europe and the rest of the continent is because we've got the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean and the North Pole to protect us. And the ingenuity and the wealth and the military might to keep everything at bay. I'm not even talking about that nutcase, that overweight, obese, Mickey Mouse-looking character in North Korea. That's for another day. I was just talking to a friend of mine who's been on the force here at LAPD for almost 30 years, and he's a real stud. This guy is one of the most trained up officers you'll ever meet. He's an officer's officer. And I said, man, you got to get off the street and take a desk job and protect that 30 years. You only got about 5 years left, right? He's got 25 years. And he goes, yeah, well, no, he likes the action. He said, but one thing I noticed, when he came on just after the Rodney King incident. He was in the academy. And he was under Chief Darrell Gates. And the gang crash units he was a part of, that was his first detail as a rookie. And they disbanded that because they said it was too tough. It was too tough on everybody. Yes. Right? Huh. What he said now to me on the phone before I got on the show this afternoon, he said, you know, man, I'm noticing now this year there's more tension out there in the streets than ever in my career, going all the way back to just after Rodney King and when I was part of the gang units, the anti-gang units. I've never felt the tension like it is today. Something's going to happen. Something's going to pop. It just takes a little scratch and something's going to happen. Chaos and anarchy in the streets. Something's going to happen. And there's really only 2,500 of us that are really trained up. The rest of the coppers, they're desk duty and they're out of shape. They look like Pillsbury Doughboys. It's true. No wonder it takes LAPD 3 hours to come to your house when you call them. Imagine what it's going to take if they're not around. We better change our ways. Because if we don't, we're destined for destruction. And so goes America, so goes the rest of the world. We carry the world on our shoulders, and we have since we started this nation. We've shaped God's blue-green earth in the eye of America. And I'll tell you what, I'm damn proud of it. All them boys and girls who shed blood so I could live in this great country. Those families, yes. I'd rather live here than in communist China or Russia. I don't see anybody running to Russia and knocking down their borders. I certainly wouldn't want to live in 120-degree Saudi Arabia. I wouldn't want to live in the Amazonian jungle, Colombia, Medellin, Chile. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't mind living in New Zealand, though. That's kind of cool. But they won't let me in. You know why? Because they only let a certain amount of people in. You have to have 1.5 million to get in there. Australia, you got to have about 1 million to immigrate to that country. Here, you just got to walk across the frickin' border. Or no, better yet, fly in a 747. Get to Canada and walk across the northern border. No one will even know you're here. It's not so hot up there. Just don't do it in wintertime because they're going to find you frozen to a pine tree. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. It's a blessing that I was born in this country. It's a blessing that if you came to this country legally and you are a citizen, you're here. You got a gift that was given to you. Either you worked for it or you just were born into it, like a silver spoon in your mouth. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what you look like. I don't care how old you are. You are one of the chosen ones. Because America is the chosen country that everybody wants to be like. And that very few will ever be able to come here. You really begin to understand that when you travel around the globe. I've been to 43 nations. And part of those 43 nations that I've been to is countries that are considered third world countries and countries that are considered right there with us. Industrialized nations. Every time I'm in another country, which has been a while now, because I'm just not going to travel to other countries. They don't like us. I think I'm just going to stay here. There's too many people out there that want to kill me just because I'm an American. And you can't help but be an American when you travel around the world. I mean, you stand out like a gold bar in the middle of black paint. They can see you 1,000 miles away without glasses and binoculars. They see you. You sit different. You move your head different. Your hands are different. You even breathe different. People don't like you. I'm going to stay right here. I don't know about you. But I've been to other nations, and every time I go, it's been a while. Man, it's so great to land back in an American airport. It's like, man, I'm home. We got to protect this, guys. We got to protect this. So if you learned anything today on the Jesse T Show, which is every day of the week from 5 to 6, I hope you walk away with this. America, the United States of America, is your home. And we have to protect our home against all those who want to hurt us. We are part of one giant family. And we better get our house straight. Because if we don't, we're going to destroy ourselves from inside. God bless Donald Trump. God bless the strength he portrays. Because we need it back. And God bless you and your family and the United States of America Yeah, baby, the world according to Torero on the Jesse T Show. You're straight on the point. The Brown Beauty's off duty. See ya. Bam.